prior to after, obviously, but now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
And shit, it was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny, because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling, for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao.
Yes, Manny, you can't come out of retirement because this guy is so bad. Like, that fired him up a little bit, and then he goes in the ring and he does nothing. He goes in the ring and, like, I thought it was an embarrassing performance from a 30-year-old champion.
Because Manny Pacquiao moves like he's still in his prime at 46, fighters are truly afraid of his return. Sean Porter remarked with confidence that Pacquiao is still Manny after seeing him prepare and perform against Barrios.
Manny's quickness,
footwork, and intensity are still excellent despite his advanced age. Opponents worry that Pacquiao's renowned form hasn't diminished, that he can still defeat elite fighters in the modern era.
What do you think about the overall matchup?
Everything, man. I watched him train like last week or the week before, and amazing to see him still move and bounce and do all the same things that he was doing in camp years ago when I was with him. So he's still locked in. He's still him, Crazy, but he is. You know what they say, man. The last thing to go is that power.
Chris Algieri, who fought alongside Pacquiao in the height of their careers, provides a unique and esteemed viewpoint. Algieri claims that Manny has a unique quality that stands the test of time. As most boxers deteriorate with age, Pacquiao continues to be a mystery that even opponents who are younger and more inexperienced find difficult to unravel. He is one of the most difficult fighters to prepare for, according to Algieri. Rapid, explosive, unpredictable, and unrelenting. He underlines that Manny's talents are unaffected by his age. For Algieri, Pacquiao's return is more than just a possibility, since he has a unique physical and cerebral advantage that training camps cannot match or predict. Anyone standing across from him is at risk.
Prior to after, obviously, but now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
Viewers were somewhat aback by how much of Pacquiao's signature flair he maintained during his bout with Mario Barrios. The expectation was a fading legend attempting to resurrect ancient magic at 46. Fans witnessed dazzling footwork, quick combinations, and astute angles instead. Everything that used to make Pacquiao a champion to be feared. The tightness of the rounds was the most notable feature. They were really competitive, even the ones he didn't win on the scorecards. He maintained remarkable stamina, ring generalship, and timing. Because of his youth, Barrios was supposed to be in charge, but he frequently found himself reacting rather than taking charge. Pacquiao was obviously not only taking part, he continued to compete at a high level.
I think Manny's always been good at that. And my son really pointed it out perfectly. He was still good at it. He was still good at it. I think he was stealing some rounds at the end. Whether he deserved them or he didn't deserve them, whatever. They were close rounds. He might have stole them on the judges' cards. What we shouldn't forget is he's a special guy. And he put a special performance. I never saw calves on the legs of somebody that big. I mean, it's incredible. I thought early on he stumbled a little bit. I thought his legs were stumbling a little bit, like you might see in a 46-year-old, a little bit. But at the end, they got the act together. He used them pretty good. He used them pretty damn good. What I think he also did was maybe a little bit of, I think the word illusion is too powerful, but I'd say a little misleading, where he threw those real fast punches like my son said. They weren't quality punches like they used to be, where there was real impact and real power at the end of them. They were more like just quick punches. And they weren't all being impactful. They weren't all landing clean. Some did, but they weren't all landing clean. And they definitely weren't landing with real power. They really weren't.
Fighter and social media star. Salt Poppy into the discussion with a daring prediction on a Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao rematch. He believes that Manny's present form demonstrates that he is still intellectually, physically, and conditioned in the game. In contrast to Mayweather, who has been away from actual competition for years, Salt Puppy thinks that a rematch between the two legends would have a far different conclusion than their 2015 meeting. This time, Mayweather's aging reflexes would be overpowered by Manny's rhythm, energy, and hunger. Although Mayweather has maintained his record through displays, Salt Puppy thinks Pacquiao is now the more dangerous of the two because to his genuine comeback to form.
Have you spoken to Manny recently? I know you're friends with him.
No, I haven't spoken to him, no.
What would you want to see him do next?
Fight Floyd Mayweather or Gervonta Tank.
You think he beats Tank, near prime Tank Davis?
We'll see. Styles make fights, so we just don't know.
What about Mayweather versus Pacquiao too?
Yeah, that'll be a good fight. Yeah, Manny is still active. So.
Okay.
Pacquiao's performance versus Barrios served as a reminder of his skill, which transcends generations. Manny retaliated with 2 or 3 lightning-fast punches each time Barrios attempted to engage. Barrios' cautious and frequently reactionary technique contrasted sharply with his output, intensity, and footwork. The fact that Pacquiao's motions still looked youthful surprised both critics and fans. His legs were in motion all the time, making cuts and opening doors. Given that Manny's volume and intensity much outnumbered Barrios' meager responses, many onlookers questioned the declared outcome. Pacquiao looked fantastic for his age, but that wasn't all. He still appeared to belong at the top.
That's not what happened. Barrios was so tentative in this fight. He was essentially standing there for some of the exchanges. Manny Pacquiao came out and did what Manny Pacquiao does. By the way, credit to Manny. At 46, he still had some feet. He was moving, dancing on Mario Barrios. He was throwing combination punches going forward on Mario Barrios. And when he wasn't doing that, he was countering Mario Barrios, who looked like a stick in the mud. He looked like he couldn't even get out of first gear because Manny was hitting with combinations. Were they hurting super bad? Maybe not. Some of them definitely were. Had a mouse under the eye of Mario Barrios, but others were just flurries, and they were keeping Barrios at bay. And when Barrios was throwing 1, Pacquiao was throwing 3. When Barrios would throw out his jab, Manny would counter with his lead right hand, stepping on the inside plane, doing all the old Manny shit. It was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao, but 2, just how great he was. 8 division world champion, started his career at 106, I think, comes up to 147. What are we talking about?
Manny's reasons for coming back have been questioned by skeptics, who speculate that money may be the primary motivator. He has nothing more to prove considering his legendary reputation and accomplishments. Manny, a world legend and 8-time Hall of Fame world champion, could easily stay retired. However, it is surprising that he decides to make a comeback. At his age, critics contend that the hazards are greater than the benefits, particularly given that boxing's physical toll only becomes worse over time. They think that until there is a significant payout, no amount of pride or legacy building justifies getting back into the ring.
Manny Pacquiao crazy for coming back and fighting is because they don't understand what's going on in Manny Pacquiao's life. When a fighter is 46 years old, he doesn't just come back to fight a top fighter because he just wants to fight a top fighter. When he's going through that, that's what's brought him to that place in the first place. And that is having what we call bandwidth extension. He's totally scattered his brain and lost so much money over the course of time. And the same thing that happens when you get a paycheck and you start spending, and because you get shiny object syndrome, you want to get the new watch, you want to get the new gear, you want to eat at the restaurant, you want to go spend money. That shiny object syndrome, and you can't get it under control the same way that Manny Pacquiao did. He couldn't get things under control. So therein lies the situation where all of that money that he's made, hundreds of millions of dollars, just burnt. And now you got to fight. But if you really stop focusing on the symptom and start concentrating on the root of this thing, and the root of this thing is bandwidth, shiny object syndrome, trying to be so relevant in so many different scenarios. You want to train, you want to run this other business, you want to do this, you got this great idea. And it all boils down to the term that I use all the time, and that's compensatory control, laser focus. Get one idea, follow through with that idea. You got to have a plan in order to do it. And that's how you get to from here to here. That's when you're 46, you don't have to fight anymore. And that is my message today. Just understand why you're scattered. Understand why you can't get anything going all the way through. You can never finish that thought process and execute the plan. And therefore, you continue to find yourself in a situation where you're desperate. You're trying to find a way to get back to where you were, which is even. But if you stay locked in and concentrate on the compensatory control factor of your life, which is doing everything that you think of every single day the exact same way, and I take 1 minute and go to that playlist.
But Pacquiao has continuously denied that he is motivated by money. He has established a reputation as a kind humanitarian in addition to a warrior throughout the years. Manny has never been afraid to share his fortune, from helping to establish hospitals to aiding in the Philippines' disaster relief efforts. He frequently tells the press that he fights for his people, not himself. He claims that his comeback is motivated by inspiration, legacy, and enthusiasm. Manny wants to demonstrate to the world that as long as the heart is strong, age is just a number for him. It's about demonstrating to both himself and other people that brilliance endures. Since the Barrios fight is finished, boxing headlines have been dominated by rumors about Pacquiao's next opponent.
When I became a world champion, then I realized that this is the time that I can help my family. Before that, we don't have food to eat in one day. We just drink a lot of water to survive. And I remember one time, my young brother is 5 years old back then, and he was crying like in the afternoon, 1:30 in the afternoon. He's crying because he's hungry. He's asking for food. We don't eat breakfast. We don't eat lunch. He don't understand what is. When you're telling him no money, we have no money to buy food, and he's crying like, "Mom, I'm hungry." Like he's crying, and I look to my mom and look at his eyes, and it's the tear flow in his eyes, and then I feel so sad and like. And of course, I'm crying also because hungry. We drink water just to survive. That's our past, so that's why I always told them that, Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao, but I don't have the right to become arrogant, to become boastful. I want to stay humble because we've been there. We came from nothing.
Following the release of training footage that appeared to indicate he was already getting ready for the task, Rolly Romero has become a clear favorite. Romero has openly expressed that he would be honored to compete against a legend like Manny, and his camp has expressed excitement about the bout. In the meanwhile, names like Gervonta Davis have also been mentioned, but schedule and promotional constraints make it unclear how likely that fight is.
No. Tira los golpes largos, men. Porque si da paso ya te pega mucho. No, quédate atrás, men. No te tiras. Ahí, quédate ahí parado ahí donde tú estabas.
Boxing Doctor News, Manny Pacquiao's next potential opponent is Rolly Romero, the WBA welterweight champ. Romero is under the same promotion, has the belt, and can sell a fight. He's eager to face Pacquiao, saying, "A Hall of Famer on my resume. Who wouldn't want that?" After Pacquiao's draw with Barrios, his advisor sees Romero as the favorite for Manny's next bout. Romero has knockout power and isn't afraid to bring the heat. Is this the explosive matchup fans have been waiting for?
And we will see what transpires, but all these people out here saying that the fight was fixed, a lot of these people were not fans of Manny Pacquiao. When that whole Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao situation was going on with the steroids allegation, the needles, and the back and forth between the Pac-Tars, as they called them back in the day, and the Mayweather fans, a lot of those fans still hold grudges towards Manny Pacquiao. I guarantee if that was Mayweather that was fighting Mario Barrios coming into that fight after a long layoff, all them people would have said Mayweather had a chance, Mayweather gonna win, become champion once again. Mayweather's levels above Mario Barrios even at that age. And Mayweather's actually older than Pacquiao. But those same people wasn't giving Pacquiao no chance to defeat an average fighter in Mario Barrios. And that's what I base my pick on, that Mario Barrios is average. Some people that's Tank Davis fans, you know, they want to blow up Mario Barrios into something that he really ain't. Because really before the Tank fight, we talking about Mario Barrios right now. Before the Tank fight, he took on a guy by the name of Pacman. He lost that fight. And he took a beating from that fight. And Mario Barrios really ain't never been the same from that fight. Go back and watch that fight. That was the fight before the Tank fight. Now a lot of people say, well, he was looking good in the Tank fight. He was winning early in the Tank fight. That was a fact of Tank going up in weight, fighting a much bigger guy on fight night. Look at the difference in size. Not only just, we ain't just looking at the height, but just, he was just a much bigger guy.